So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with.
Christian from Velvet Starlings.
I have some questions to say about the upcoming album, Pacific Standard Time. So congrats on that. By the way, how do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Well, we put out 2 singles, and so far, I think they've been received well. They don't sound very much like our other records, but to me, that's super fun. So,
Hell yeah. Well, the album
yeah.
is super cool. I
Mhm.
enjoyed it a lot. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
yeah. So the title cover art, the actual artwork hasn't been released to the public yet, but both of the singles we just kind of zoomed in on parts of the record cover, and the record cover is there's a timepiece in the middle that says Pacific Standard Time, and all around it are different images that reflect the meaning or something that's got to do with one of the songs on the record.
Mm.
And basically, it's kind of hard to explain. We'll eventually get into it, but this record is sort of supposed to like take place at different points in time and explain our other records. And there's like a through line story from the last record to this record to the next record that we're making.
I have so many questions, but I don't even know if you would want to like get into that or if that wants to be kept a secret at this point in time.
Well, I mean, it's got to get explained at some point, but yeah, like basically the other thing is like if you look us up on the internet, we went through a full lineup change in the band over last year. And this album was actually recorded before the album that we have out that came out 2 years ago came out. So we recorded this album in 2020, and I remixed it and redid a ton of things on it. So we just had a lot of fun playing with you asked, what the meaning of the title Pacific Standard Time is, and a lot of the songs are about time and just exploring the concept of time. And then there's a song called Pacific Standard Time on it that is the only song that has nothing to do with time. Funny enough. But yeah.
So wait, back up for a second. This album was recorded before the album that came out last.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So it was like we toured the UK in 2019, and these were all the songs we were playing, and it was like, what are we gonna record? We're gonna do this album. This was gonna be our main album.
Mhm.
And then 2020 happened right when we were gonna go in to record it. So we recorded it during like the end of 2020. We didn't want to put it out yet because we were like, this is our big like debut album. And like we couldn't tour, we couldn't do anything, no one would care because everyone was worried about their own life. So we didn't put it out. We made another record that was like, okay, this is just another batch of songs we can put out in the interim so that we can put that one out next year.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what happened. And then after that, when we were gonna put it out in 2022, through full lineup change in the band. So I think another thing is I was listening to a lot of different music in 2018, and then in 2021, 2022, I was listening to different music from what I was listening to then, and I just constantly have been changing my perspective, and things that I thought I wanted in the music in 2018, 2019 are the opposite of what I want in it right now.
Yeah.
So some things you can't re-record, some things you can't change. So like we went a big part of recording in a studio with the producer is, you can record drums because I can't record drums. I don't have the means for that, but it means that I can't redo them when I went back in to remix it. So those weren't going to be changed, but everything else I like I deleted all the bass tracks and redid them all with a synthesizer that sounds like a bass. Like it still has the roundness, but you can like get distortion on it way more when you can like digitally enhance it as opposed to dealing with just a DI bass.
That's
So
Um, definitely very interesting. Like, obviously we speak to a lot of bands that put out an album in 2020 and they're like kind of disappointed that they did or whatever, but they felt like they had to. And like you were like, well, we have to do something, but we don't want to put out this album because we believe in it too much. Is kind of like what I'm gathering.
Yeah, well, the other funny thing is, so the music videos are a big part of this album,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and so half of the music videos are with the old band members who are in all of the first album, and
Mhm.
then the other half of the videos are with a whole other set of people. And I'm not even in the. We just shot a music video yesterday. I'm not even in the music video because it's supposed to explain what this band was doing while I was in this other band. And we have a song, our second single called H2Ls that just came out. And that video is me wearing all the clothes from that era of last year in the other music videos, getting like murdered by a version of me from the future wearing all black with like a crazy space gun, just trying to stop myself from releasing the song. And then when it happens, they both vanish at the end of the video and it like disrupts the timeline. And basically, the Velvet Starlings multiverse is a thing. And the other album is just some other Velvet Starlings, a different variant. And this Velvet Starlings is the main timeline that you were supposed to be watching the whole time, but it just didn't work like that because I didn't know any of them yet. So we we like have been just and what's funny is we made that video last year and we didn't know that like the other band was in this video and we just kind of edited it differently and we didn't know it was going to happen like that. So it's we've been kind of working as we go, but we had so much footage that we were able to make a story out of something we didn't know needed to happen.
Yeah.
So the last album you're saying that's a completely different universe. You weren't supposed to see that.
Mhm.
Is that the story that you mentioned before? The storyline that kind of connects all of your releases?
Yes, and part of that is because Velvet Starlings. I don't know if you ever read any reviews of stuff on the internet. It's like they're like 60s garage like rip-off music. And if you listen to the first record, it's kind of like that. Like it you know, that's my favorite music is 60s music, but
Mhm.
I've been listening to basically only music from like 2003 onward for the last like year and a half. And a lot of it is like garage rock and psych rock that
Mhm.
is influenced by the 60s, but not the 60s.
Yeah.
So basically, from that, the Pacific Standard Time album, I went in and there's a lot of different techniques of like, instead of having reverb on everything, have
Mhm.
no reverb on anything and
Oh.
put gates on everything so you can hear everything clearly. And like I love the sound of organs and stuff, but if you just put distortion on them and do different things to them, it's not gonna sound like, you know, something from 1968. It can sound like something from 2023.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and it goes in line with uh a lot of the ideals of the songs. Like some of the songs, like they were written from the perspective that was like genuine, and
Mhm.
now it just changed it a bit to be almost making fun of itself,
Mhm.
as if the future me is looking back at the me that wrote that song and
Mhm.
actually believed in it, and it's like having a conversation with myself. So
So you shifting that like perspective on those songs, is that like how you're like reconnecting with them in a sense since they're like 5 years old?
exactly, so many bands, I'm sure, like they'll be married and write a love song, and that song gets super big, and they get divorced, and then they're on the stage and they have to be like, "Yeah, I'm so into this," and they're just not into it. They're with their new wife, and they're expected to really believe in it for the crowd every night. Um, but I think, yeah, finding a way to almost, it's not even like it's making fun of it, but there's some songs where it's like I look back and it's like I can't believe we're even releasing this. This does not reflect who we are, but it's like it kind of does because I still like that stuff, and it's like this album is like a conversation with myself from the past.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm getting that just like based on you like explaining the music videos and everything that you're just like you're all falling into that. Um, it's certainly interesting. I'm very intrigued by the entire thing.
Yeah, I don't want to like. I'm not like I'm not trying to make fun of myself, but like I can't help but like smile thinking about the album because there's so many things I would have changed that I couldn't change because it's just what the songs are. I just would have to not release them. They are what they are.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, what song off the album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Ooh, my personal favorite is our first single. It's called Bullfight, because it's the first song that we put out that sounds like what our next album's gonna sound like. I was written in like 4 years ago, maybe more than 4 years ago. And it's just like basically we did a lot of songs where they were all mid-tempo songs. We'd play shows and we'd play with punk bands, and it was like, man, we are lame. And so I started just listening to different music and playing everything faster. And I was actually the other day I was looking at a video of us playing like 4 years ago, and it was like it's the same songs, but they were all played so slow. And yeah, so that's the track Bullfight. That's my favorite track off any record. And it probably took the longest because it's changed so much. But I mean, all the songs have changed a lot. I honestly couldn't even tell you about the writing process because it's just like I sit acoustic guitar and write like from like 2017 to 2019. It was just like I was really into writing songs. And then once we started playing shows and this and that, it's like then recording music becomes your thing because you've already written this. You have to make the stuff you've written into something. Otherwise, you just have too many voice memos. I know some people with like thousands and thousands and thousands of little parts and song starts.
Yeah.
It's like,
so when we're talking about Bullfight, you mentioned that it's the one that sounds the most like the next record. Like how does that happen? When you were like reworking that song, were you also working on the next album, or did you like okay.
So yeah, the next album, the one we're about to record, it was written all last year and the year before that. So but another thing is some of these songs should have been on like the same album, but I also am really, really set on this idea that Velvet Starlings, every time we put out an album, it's exactly 10 songs. And one of the songs isn't even a song. It's going to be like 12 seconds or 24 seconds. So really every album has 9 songs. But I think like an even 30 minutes is the perfect, like, through 10 3-minute songs is my favorite kind of album. And some albums have like 17 songs, and it's like, we'll just make it 2 albums and get all the money.
Yeah.
Other than like the White Album. The White Album, I feel like it's got to be that long. But imagine if there was an album called The White Album, and then there was another album with another art cover that had half of the songs. People would be like, man, they have even more great records.
They have 2 great records.
Exactly. So how did the track list for this album come about? Did you guys write the opener to be the opener, closer to be a closer? You shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
We did not do it like that. We definitely we had like 9 songs and the order was completely random at first, and then we were like, how are we gonna make this make sense? And then slowly with the videos we were like, okay, we made the track list, and what I do a lot in the recording and everything is I make a lot of decisions that I can't go back from. So like a lot of people, they like to leave it so they can choose and go back and this and that. I'm the opposite. So like when we recorded our second album, the one we just put out last in 2021, I did a lot of like, I would record the guitars, do the take, do everything. It's like, I like this. I didn't mess up. Okay. Do crossfades. Now it's bounced. I can't change the guitars. I can't go back. Same thing with the drums, everything. And I would bounce it all together. And it's like, we're not making any more decisions on this. And it sucked for when we were mastering because the guy was like, can you change the kick drum and bring out the... It's like, no. I can't. And same thing with the track list. We paid the guy who was doing the artwork, and he did the track list, and it was like, okay, that's done. He made the art, and he did it with like his hand, so it can't be undone. So we
Yeah.
were trying to make the story of the videos. It was like, oh, it might have been better if this song was there,
Mhm.
but because he made the art like that, that's how we have to make the story. And because it's that's what happened in the 60s. They would go in, they'd record something, they'd be like, "Dude, was that the take? Okay, that's the take. We're rolling with it," and they
Mhm.
couldn't really go back.
Yeah.
And once it's released, you really can't go back.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I should mention, in addition to that, I was talking about our second album, how this one we've changed things and I've gone back. We originally had two EPs out in 2018, 2019, that I consolidated. I chopped off some of the songs and then edited them and turned that into an album retroactively. And you guys know that now, but no one else knows that unless they were there for it.
Uh-huh.
But there were a lot less people there in that time.
The
So-
Yeah.
power of streaming. I mean, you did mention like you can't edit songs, like it is what it is once it's out, but like in the world of streaming, like yes, you can't change the physical copy, but there have been plenty of times where people go in and the one on streaming changes ever so slightly.
I know that happened. I got really into the Tame Impala when they released Borderline, the main single off the last record. There's this version that was floating around for like a year streaming, and then when the album came out right before COVID, everyone was like, "Why does this sound super different from the version we all know?" He was like, "Yeah, I made it better," and everyone was like, "We want the old version." And
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
the
"Well,
worst.
you don't freaking get it. It's gone now."
So, but do you like going back to like, you have to bounce the sessions and you just hand the track list, that duty off to someone else? Like, do you have to put yourself in those situations like purposefully because the music and the art won't be put out if you're the one making those decisions?
Oh, well, actually, part of it with that album, I would never do that again. It was two reasons. It was one, I was using a computer from like 2016, a Mac, and everyone hates that. Basically, I run Pro Tools, but I don't run it that well at all. I'm still learning. So I was doing it, and every time I do anything, it would be like, "You were running low on memory. Change your thing out." And I got a computer that did not have enough memory on it to run Pro Tools, but I did it despite I was just like, I don't have another computer. I can't afford another one. So basically, anytime I would have too many plugins open, it would stop and go, "You do not have enough CPU processing power to do this," and it would just like stop and it would delete everything I just did. And it happened to me like 30 times. So to avoid that, I would create a separate track and I'd be like, okay, making the drums, making them sound all cool. Okay, I got the track of drums. Now I'm going to delete it all and get rid of all the plugins and make them all inactive and use this drum wave of the song. And that's how I recorded everything, because it was just like I didn't have anyone helping me. And I would never do that again because I have a really good computer now that doesn't have that problem.
Okay.
But at the time, that's how it was for me. So and the same thing with the track list. I'm still happy with the track list. I think I only would change it now as of recent to make the story make sense, because you basically, the first song is Pacific Standard Time and you see me and the other band, the old lineup, like, and we're walking around in Orange County, like doing acid and being all crazy. And what's funny is I've never smoked weed in my life. I've never had alcohol. And we're there like doing every drug you can imagine in this music video. So to me, it's just like, I don't know, that's funny to me.
Yeah.
But that happens. And then immediately after that in the story is a completely different band. And I have green hair and like it's just a whole different thing for a bullfight video. And then after that is the H.G. Wells video, where it's just me in it, and I go to the Christian from the first video and kill him, and they both vanish. And then the next video we just shot yesterday is like all the other band members, and they're like trying to kill each other, and there's You know what? I need to get your contact information so I can send. I just personally feel like I need to send you the new video we shot yesterday because it's so crazy. There's like it's like a joke, and then there's like death. Like it's gonna be
Yeah.
really brutal. I went to Ralph's yesterday and I bought like lamb shanks and ribs, all this meat
Hmm.
that we like put in this guy's shirt, and we put like fake blood, and it's just like I had a hard time being in the video, and I had to be the one to hold all the meat and put it on him,
Hmm.
and it's gonna be kind of crazy. I sent it to my family to be like, do you think I should put this out? Is this a bit too much? So
Yeah,
I'll have to send it.
we'll have to get you our email when this interview's over. I
Yeah.
definitely want to see that.
For sure.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should you do in the car with friends and talk with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
Well, as much as this all looks like it's like some big concept album and everything, in reality, it's more of like my favorite bands are the ones who make like the story is self-contained into 3 minutes. So all of these songs on this album, none of them sound like each other. They all are in different worlds and they're not really that connected. In fact, the only way they're actually connected is that I took all the tracks before mastering and I put them next to each other so the sounds from the end of one song overlaps with the beginning of the next song.
Hmm.
Because they all are so disjointed and have nothing to do with each other. So it was more me trying to turn it into a concept album when it's so clearly not.
Hmm.
But some things did actually work out. Like I say the word time in like every song, and I didn't even realize I do that. So, and some of them were literally about the concept of time and time
Hmm.
passing and going back in time and doing freaking crazy stuff. And yeah, so I recommend listening to it. You can listen to it in full. It's made for that. But
Hmm.
also each individual song, like, you know, anytime anyone gets into a band, they just like one song first.
Hmm.
You always hear one song and you're like, okay, what's the next one? And you listen to another one and you have two songs you like by them. So yeah, listen to any of the songs. Whichever one you hear first. You pick one at random.
All right, sounds good.
So listen to it in full, but then at the same time, whatever the fuck you want to listen to.
Exactly. Like honestly, when you say what's your favorite song, like I have my favorite this and that, but like any of the songs you could listen to and have a good time.
Okay.
All right.
So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
3 words.
3 words.
Like three different adjectives describing it, or like it is crazy.
It's just whatever you want. If you want it to be connected, if you want it to be just random words that you think fit.
I'm gonna go with it is crazy.
Okay.
It is crazy.
With that
Okay.
facial expression.
we'll add it at the end. Sure.
Sounds good. So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have going through the album?
Well, I always say, like, I'd rather listen to music that's like objectively bad than something that is like, mid or doesn't make me feel anything. So at the end of it, I just want them to feel something. If they don't feel anything, then yeah, I'd feel like, oh man, that sucks. But if they feel something about it, it made them go, whoa, that was weird, or that was bad, or that was good, then we're winning.
You know
All
what?
right.
Hell yeah. All right. So are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this album, positive or negative?
Ooh. Well, like particularly challenging. I guess overall, when I was remixing it, getting to sound how I want it to sound, that I spent so many times like going back and forth from my room to the car trying to get things to come out. Basically, this album made me realize that I could call myself a producer. I could not call myself an engineer, and I was the engineer. So the next record, I'm not engineering it because I I I only went to where I did recording arts in high school. So I don't have even like college level recording arts. It's like 2 years of my freshman and sophomore year of high school, and that's all I'm working with. So there's a lot of things that were done wrong in the recording process. But that's fine because I've listened to so many records where it's like, why did they do that? That sounds so bad. And then you look it up and you're like, well, they did it in their room and they didn't know how to record. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I love the songs, and that's how it goes. So
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Makes sense.
So for this question, we want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
ooh, snack of choice.
Mm-hmm.
I am a big fan of like the cucumber flavored Gatorade. And I don't really drink Gatorade, but the cucumber flavor, for some reason, it's like they always have grape flavored candy and like cherry, but cucumber is one of those things you never see. So like the artificial cucumber flavor, yeah, that's what I'll go for.
I think you're like the only person I've ever met that drinks the cucumber flavor, dude. That's like rare.
I know. I was watching this is random. I was watching a tier list of AI of Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and Obama ranking the Gatorade flavors.
Oh,
And that's exactly what Joe Biden said. I think they were making fun of Obama because Obama was saying that Michelle it's the only one Michelle lets him drink. And he likes the flavor of it. And Donald Trump and Joe Biden were like, Obama, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Those AI presidential videos, they are something else when they're playing Call of Duty together.
I was gonna say when they're playing like Fortnite, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
fun. Love it. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Ooh, definitely sushi. Definitely. I think this album even is like all of our albums are like if you were to order one singular piece of like 10 different rolls, and some of them are like way too spicy, and some of them are like have weird fish that you like can't pronounce the name of, and like it's a whole different thing. And some of them have the sauce and some of them just don't. It's a big mix of random flavor explosions.
Okay.
All right. Sounds
yeah.
good. And for the last couple questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Whoa, is there like a food theme?
We
Yes.
just like it. We just like it. That's the theme.
We do like food.
Last meal. I'm gonna be repetitive and also say sushi. Just because it covers all the bases. You know, like you eat a hamburger and there's nothing sweet in it. But like you have sushi. Like ginger and eel sauce. There's so much sugar in sushi. And it's so tasty. I think they even put sugar in like the sushi rice.
Sometimes.
I love
syrup. Yeah.
I need to have sushi. I was hanging out with my uncle and my aunt, and I was like, hey, we should go to this sushi restaurant. They're like, we don't eat sushi anymore. Because my Aunt Joni, she's been taking classes about like biology or something. She's gonna become a marine biologist. But anyway, they came to the conclusion that they will never eat fish again because of all the parasites, and they've seen the footage and looked at so I actually haven't eaten sushi since they said that. And I can't tell if it's because they said that or if it's just because I haven't made it around to it. But
yeah, it
sounds less good.
Treat yourself today. Get some sushi.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm about to die, I don't care about parasites.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, you've gone this long eating sushi, so.
And how are you washing that sushi down?
Ooh, my favorite drink or dessert?
Drink.
Okay. I'm not gonna be repetitive this time and say cucumber Gatorade because I've only ever had cucumber Gatorade like on its own. I wouldn't drink that with stuff. It'd be weird. No. Although it sounds like it would be a really good pairing with a California roll. So
oh my god.
Oh man. Did I just create something? Am I gonna have to try that?
Today?
Ooh, I could go for Have you ever like bought sushi at Whole Foods?
I bought it at Kroger.
Ooh, okay. I bought it at Kroger one time. We were in like Arkansas or something on tour, and I got sushi at Kroger, and it was like, whoa. But
Was that a
sushi at Whole
good
Foods,
whoa or was that a bad whoa? You can't leave me like a fucking
well,
cliffhanger here.
it's like it's sushi that's not from a restaurant. Am I gonna say it's
Okay.
good? No.
Mhm.
But was it bad? No, it was not bad.
Yeah.
But Whole Foods is like, you want a California roll? $15.
Jesus
I
Christ.
know, it's crazy. They're
Wow.
freaking crazy. You want
Yeah.
sashimi? Like $20 for a couple
Whoa.
slices of fish. Like,
Let's calm down.
so exactly, I
Mhm.
will never do that.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Okay, favorite drink. I'm getting off
Mhm.
topic. I mean, I'm just gonna say like root beer,
Okay.
right? Like,
Sure.
it's so good.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Hell yeah. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Ooh, oh, there's so many cool fictional. Can it be cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Hmm. I mean, when I think about it, a lot of the things that I like obviously I'm a big Star Wars fan, all that stuff. I would not want to live in any of those places because
Mm-mm.
people just be like getting killed all the time. I would probably die really fast. Uh, like even like Harry Potter, the mortality rate is really high if you're in the wizarding world. And then if you're not, you're just a muggle, and it's basically where I am right now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, living in SpongeBob would be really cool.
Agreed. Hell yeah.
All right.
That's the life.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
There's not a lot of bad things that happen.
Well, you know, the town like blows up a couple times, but it's nothing they can't come back from.
Yeah, exactly. It's all back to normal within the next like couple seconds.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
the next episode starts, and it's just like it's all chill.
Exactly. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. So I've gone asked the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Ooh, definitely hot pink.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Number one.
Cool
And
color.
it's not because the Barbie movie's out or anything.
Oh.
It was my favorite color way before that.
Oh, okay.
Way
okay,
before
okay.
it was everybody else's favorite color of the summer.
Mhm.
Yeah, see, I did an experiment on my phone, and I liked every photo in my recommended that was hot pink,
Mhm.
and it all turned into Barbie advertisements. So when I go on Instagram now, it's all hot pink and it's great, and it's like Barbie food and Barbie this and
Mhm.
Barbie pasta, but like
Seen a lot of Barbie pasta.
it's all Barbie. Like why can't I just like pink and
Yeah.
it not be advertisements for the movie? Which by the way, I
Wait.
saw it and it's really good.
It's good?
It's
Okay,
really
that's good.
I
It
I've
sucks
only
with
heard good
Oppenheimer.
things.
Oppenheimer was better though. I saw them on the same day.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
do
you
want to
did the
see
double feature.
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love Cillian Murphy. I'm gonna see it just because of him. I don't really give a fuck about the actual movie. I
Mm-hmm.
zone in, you know?
I didn't know anything about it. I mean, I knew the main things that happened,
Yeah.
but it was really good. Like
Yeah.
best movie of the year.
Damn.
Okay.
Damn. You know, fucking
Okay.
Roderick Heffley's in it. Shane, that one's for you.
Drake or freaking Josh from Drake and Josh is in it.
Yeah, Josh
Like-
Peck is in it. Half the shit doesn't make any sense, but like it's cool. I'm excited to see it.
He actually has some parts in it.
I
Like
thought he was just like a background character.
no spoilers, but he's introduced as like the most background character ever, and they don't even talk about him for an hour. And then he shows up and he does like important stuff, and you're like, whoa,
What
good
the
for
fuck is
him.
Josh Peck doing here? Doing
Yeah.
important shit.
Exactly.
How the hell did Josh Peck get scouted for a fucking Christopher Nolan? Nolan? What the hell is his
Yeah.
name? Is that him?
Christopher Nolan. He was just
Yeah.
like scouting at night, I guess, and he came across Drake and Josh, and he was like, "Let's get Drake," and it's like, "Oh, let's not get Drake."
No, let's not get Drake.
I'll take the other one.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Wait. Before we go, what do you guys think the best movie of the year was?
Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get Spider-Verse was probably better than Oppenheimer, but in terms of like drama movie,
Mhm.
Oppenheimer is like it's pretty good. But
Yeah.
Spider-Verse, obviously, like visually, people are saying it's the greatest animated movie of all time.
Agreed,
And
yeah.
when I try to compare it to another animated movie and say that animated movie is better than Spider-Verse, it's like, no, it's not.
There's no
Spider-Verse is
fucking
better.
way. Exactly. Yeah. Spider-Verse, the two movies, I'm very excited for the third one. I think it's 2025. Oof.
Oh yeah, they said 2024, March 2024 in the thing, and they just took it out of their bio. Someone working said they hadn't even started pre-production. So
They were shooting a little higher there on 2024.
yeah, definitely not happening. What about
Yeah.
you?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't actually know if I've watched any movies that came out this year. I'm not a big movie guy.
He's not. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about Indiana Jones?
I forgot that was coming out actually.
I mean, yeah, I fell asleep. Indiana Jones, like the fourth Indiana Jones was one of the first movies I ever saw, and I was obsessed with Indiana Jones.
Is that the Crystal
And then,
Skull?
yeah.
Okay.
Everyone hates that movie, but I love that movie.
Yeah,
People say it's not realistic. I feel like it's the most realistic of any of the movies.
Are you talking the one with the aliens?
I mean, the one with the Noah's Ark and all that stuff, I feel like there's less of a chance of those things happening than the fourth one. The fourth one, like, no one ever talks about how Steven Spielberg and Lucas, they like researched they were like, if aliens were a thing, how would it happen? And would there be evidence in the past? And they crossed their T's and dotted their I's. They did their
research. Yeah.
Anyway, the new Indiana Jones, I saw it and I fell asleep for an hour.
So you're not raving about that one?
No, but man, I feel bad.
Damn it, Harrison.
Everyone was saying bad things about it, and like everyone was talking about Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Fleabag is like my favorite show ever.
I do want to see Fleabag
so much. I don't know, like having her in the movie, like Indiana Jones is really old.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like I don't know if I want to see old Harrison Ford.
Also, I don't know if you watch you've seen Spider-Verse, so you've seen the Marvel movies. You know about the time stuff and the multiverse. Yeah. They try to do freaking time travel shenanigans in Indiana Jones.
Why is everyone doing that shit now? Fucking The Flash. Fucking Marvel ruined cinema. That sounded so uptight. I'm joking. For everyone listening, I'm fucking joking. But
I feel like the Flash, freaking, it's like
it's the Flash.
The Flashpoint comic was like the first people to do that. And did you like the Flash? Did you see it?
No, I don't want to.
I will say I'm not a defender of Ezra Miller himself, but the movie The Flash is pretty good.
That sounded like it hurt to get out a little bit there. That was pretty good.
Everyone much, but it actually is worth watching. It's worth your time.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's between Oppenheimer, Spider-Verse. I think that's all the movies I saw that were like I saw Fast and the Furious and Transformers, but those are trash.
Why would you watch the Fast and Furious?
I've never seen any of them. It was the first one I ever saw.
That's a rough start, dude. You should watch the last one that they did. Shit's crazy. They go to space in a car. Like no fucking nothing, no oxygen or anything. They just go to fucking space and they're fine. It's crazy. Fucking love it.
Okay, the last thing before I go. Do you guys know what G.I. Joe is?
One more time.
You know G.I. Joe?
I know of G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys won't care about this. The end of Transformers. The main guy who's like the Transformer guy who's friends with the Transformers, he gets recruited by the military at the end. They're like, we want you. You worked with the Transformers. And he turns over his business card. He's like, G.I. Joe? This is so stupid. So they're going to make a movie now with G.I. Joe versus Transformers. Like, the world that we're in is like...
What's going on?
They're running out of ideas.
For real, dude.
I was like talking to my brother. It's like they're gonna do Oppenheimer too about freaking the multiverse. Like I don't know anymore. So anyway.
Well,
thank you guys so much for having Velvet Starlings on. I hope I was able to explain a bit of what, because Velvet Starlings almost doesn't even make that much sense now. I wanted to get to the point where we keep doing this thing and make stuff with the multiverse and different timelines, and at one point it just gets so confusing that people are like, dude, Velvet Starlings, I don't know what they're doing anymore. Like the way people talk about Marvel now, where it's like there's 3 Iron Mans and they're
just doing shit now.
Yeah, exactly. I want to get that reputation.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Well, cool. That is all the questions we have for you today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
other than Velvet Starlings,
Mhm.
no, I think I got everything across that I needed off my back.
Oh yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. Now it's been Christian from Velvet Starlings, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.